Well, I mean, it's actually been a while since I've reviewed a Resident Evil game, so let's of course cover Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now, obviously, I could probably start the video off in a little funny way, in that this was the original Resident Evil 3. Although that's kind of been disputed lately. I mean, I don't know. Either way, let's just get into the review. Now, if you're seeing this title, well, you probably already know what I'm going to say about the game. And so, why is Resident Evil Code Veronica not that good? Well, there's a few factors that had gone into my decision, and well, obviously just kind of not. So, I guess, what is the story for this one? Well, let's kind of take a look at real quick. The story for Code Veronica takes place a few months after Resident Evil 2. Now, the story so far is, of course, Resident Evil 0, 1, 3, then 2. So what happens is that Claire is searching for Chris, who's kind of, well, he's missing. I mean, we know he's investigating Umbrella in Europe, but Claire kind of didn't know that. And also, Claire's investigating Umbrella after the events of Resident Evil 2. So, Code Veronica is a bit of a sequel to 1 and 2. So, if you haven't played any of those ones, you're probably going to be missing out on quite a bit, actually. Code Veronica is a very important game to play in the series, but in my opinion, it has not aged all that well. What about the main antagonists? Well, we got these twins and we got Wesker. The twins are alright, you know, pretty interesting. Then we got Wesker, who pretty much steals the show. Wesker's probably the best villain in Resident Evil, and not gonna lie, once Wesker dies in Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil kind of just feels like it stumbles with its villains after that, which is kind of sad, but obviously that's going to be talked about later. So, of course, Code Veronica still continues with the fixed camera angles and tank controls that the series was known for. Except, I don't think it works well with Code Veronica. This one and Resident Evil 3 are a bit more action packed compared to the previous entries, and I don't think it really helps the game. I mean, it fixed camera angles, alright, but the tank controls, I feel like they're a detriment to the game's actual enjoyment. I mean, it worked well with Resident Evil 1 because it was a simple game to understand and you didn't really need to run away from that much stuff. Resident Evil 1 wasn't really too much of a difficult game, but Code Veronica, well, you're going to be facing a lot of, well, tough enemies from the get go, and being stuck with tank controls kind of sucks, to be honest. The fixed camera angle is alright. Personally, I really enjoy that with the earlier Resident Evil games, and is one of the reasons why I like Resident Evil 1 so much. But the tank controls just kind of killed this game for me. So, next up is the story. It's honestly alright. I mean, it's not the best, but certainly not the worst. I mean, we have yet to cover the worst Resident Evil story, but it just feels that maybe this one should have just kind of been combined with a different game, but that's just my opinion on that. So, what's up next? Well, I guess what's up next is probably talking about the black sheep. Well, I mean, no, my bad, the elephant in the room for this game. There's been a ton of rumors that Resident Evil Code Veronica is going to get remade. Now, obviously, like, these are rumors. Like, no one knows. There's also rumors that Resident Evil 5 is going to be next, and from what we've seen in Resident Evil 4, it kind of seems like maybe that's the case, but there's been some criticism with Code Veronica in recent years, and that's due to that's due to a line that Claire says to one of the antagonists. She calls him a cross-dressing freak, and it's actually been getting labeled as transphobic. Now, I normally don't really talk about stuff like that on the channel, You know, I mean, everyone already knows what I think about that. You know, like, hey, I'm trans myself, so obviously I'm gonna be vocal about trans issues. But I don't really think that was transphobic. I mean, it's probably more ableist because the guy's not completely there. But I think it's just a case of just maybe just take out the line. The game can still be remade. It's nothing of cancel culture or anything like that. It's just a small part of a game that has not aged well, and that's really all it is. So, I guess one of my closing thoughts on Code Veronica: should you play the game, or should you just wait till a remake happens? Well, if you're experiencing the newer Resident Evil games and have no desires to go back to the older ones, yeah, wait till a remake comes out. It's definitely going to be better in like every way. But if you are playing for the older Resident Evil games and wish to experience all of them in their glory, well, I would definitely say check out this one. It's not the best one, and it's just slightly disappointing in terms of gameplay and a bit of story. But overall, Code Veronica feels like an important game in the Resident Evil lore. But that's all I have to say for this one. I will, of course, be back eventually with a Resident Evil 4 review. But before that, I'm going to be covering a few other things as well with a Quest review. So stay tuned for those. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.